34-year-old Nicholas Finley now is charged with capital murder after detectives say he robbed and killed his 29-year-old girlfriend, Marciana Struggs.
Marciana Struggs was shot and killed while trying to run from her boyfriend, Nicholas Finley. Jury recalls how it unfolded.
His lady got pulled over, and he needed her to bring the insurance card. And so my roommate took her to go down there, and he wasn't there. So when they came back, he was sitting right here in her car, and she jumped out and had a confrontation with him, and he shot her a couple times.
It started with a scream, the kind that slices through the night and makes time stop. A young mother, barefoot and terrified, running through the courtyard of a quiet North Houston apartment complex. Her name was Marciana Struggs, 29 years old, beautiful, driven, desperate to live. Behind her, footsteps, fast, closing in. The man she once loved, now the one she feared most. Neighbors would later say it looked unreal, a nightmare playing out in slow motion. She was banging on doors, crying for help, trying to reach a car, but her body was failing her. Then came the shots, one after another, until the night fell silent. Moments before, a phone had recorded his voice. Cold, commanding. When the police come, tell them you ain't see nothing. Those words, flat and final, became the prelude to a killing that shook the city. Marciana wasn't famous. She wasn't powerful. She was a single mom from Louisiana, chasing a better life in Houston. She worked hard. She hustled. She wanted peace for her child, a future far from struggle. But instead, she found herself trapped in a toxic love. A man named Nicholas Finley, whose affection turned to obsession, and whose obsession turned deadly. This isn't just another true crime case. It's a story about how control, entitlement, and rage can destroy everything in seconds. It's the story of Marciana Struggs, and the night her fight for freedom ended in tragedy.
Welcome to Grave Kisses, where love rots, secrets scream, and the dead don't stay buried. Hit subscribe, like and share, if you're not afraid to dig a little deeper.
Marciana Struggs grew up in Marrero, Louisiana, a small town outside New Orleans, where family meant everything and everyone knew your name. She was raised among cousins, neighbors, and that familiar southern rhythm that never leaves you. At Higgins High School, she was known for her light, but easy natural energy that filled a room. Friends called her funny, ambitious, and kind. The kind of person who remembered birthdays, who lifted others up, even when she was still finding her own way. Life in Marrero wasn't always easy, but Marciana met it with quiet strength. That same resilience carried her through every hard season. When she became a mother, her world shifted. Every early morning, every late night grind, every sacrifice, all for one reason: to build a better life for her child. She wanted to build a future better than her past. The Louisiana girl who once walked the halls of Higgins High now carried a mother's purpose, fierce, steady, unshakable. But Marrero was small. Its chances were few. So, with nothing but courage and hope packed beside her, Marciana left. She pointed her car west and drove toward Houston, Texas, a city known for reinvention, where people come to rebuild what life broke. For Marciana, Houston meant a fresh start, a clean page. She worked long hours juggling motherhood and survival, holding it all together with grit. It wasn't fancy, but it was honest. It was hers. Still, Houston's grind was merciless. Rent didn't wait. Bills didn't pause. Prices kept climbing. Like so many young mothers doing it alone, she searched for a way to keep her child's world steady. That's when she turned to OnlyFans, a platform where she could control her image, her income, her boundaries. She set her monthly rate at $35, just enough to help with groceries, rent, and the little joys her child deserved. To outsiders, it might have looked controversial, but to Marciana, it wasn't about attention or fame. It was survival. She drew her line early: online content only. No in-person meetings. No blurred lines. What she posted was performance, not an invitation. She treated it like work. She uploaded, engaged, and built her small pocket of stability. To her, it was business. To others, it was misunderstood, but not everyone saw it with empathy. That's when Nicholas Finley, 34, stepped into her life. At first he was charming, attentive, the kind of man who knew what to say to make a woman feel safe. But soon the charm cracked, and what came out was darker. His affection turned into surveillance. His words of love became rules. He started asking for money, saying that as her man, he was owed a share. He told her what to post, what not to wear, who not to text. Every picture, every message, every silence, questioned. He didn't love her independence. He wanted to own it. For a woman who had fought hard to stand on her own 2 feet, that kind of control felt like suffocation. Marciana tried to keep the peace. Sometimes she stayed with him, hoping things might calm down. But the arguments never stopped. It was constant, a tug of war between a woman trying to live free and a man terrified of losing control. Friends noticed the shift. The once bright voice that filled phone calls with laughter now sounded careful, worn down, afraid to say too much. It's a story as old as time: love twisted into possession, affection poisoned by jealousy. It always starts small. Don't post that. Don't talk to him. Why didn't you answer? Until one day, it becomes something you can't escape. For Marciana, that day was coming. She had left her hometown to find peace. But peace doesn't come easy when someone sees your freedom as betrayal. She was trying to build her own version of happiness. But instead she found herself trapped in a love that had turned into control, danger, and fear, and control became danger. In the weeks before her death, Marciana started to distance herself. She stopped bending to his rules. She kept her money, stood her ground, and refused to apologize for living life on her own terms. She was ready to leave, but for men like Nicholas, a woman walking away isn't independence. It's betrayal. It's war. One of their biggest fights was over her car, a 2017 Honda Civic. Nicholas believed that as her man, he had rights to it. That argument never went away. Every time the topic came up, it ended in shouting. But this time, Marciana had made her decision. She was leaving him for good. Weeks of tension had boiled beneath the surface. What once felt like love had turned into fear, into something dark and volatile. July 19th, 2024, a Friday that started like any other, until everything went wrong. That morning, Nicholas reportedly got pulled over while driving her car. He called Marciana, told her to bring the insurance card. She agreed, just wanting to fix the problem and move on. Her roommate offered her a ride to meet him. But when they got there, Nicholas was nowhere to be found. Confused, they turned back toward the apartment complex. When they pulled in, he was already there, sitting in her car, waiting. The moment Marciana saw him, she jumped out. Words flew, voices rose. Then, gunfire. Witness Shani Drury heard it from her doorway. He shot her a couple times, she told reporters. Panicked, Shani's boyfriend yanked her back inside as more shots echoed through the courtyard. Nicholas screamed, I'll kill everybody in the house for helping her. Marciana was hit but still moving, desperate to survive. She stumbled toward Shani's truck, trying to escape. But Nicholas followed. He fired again, 4, maybe 5 more times. She fell, then tried to crawl, her strength fading. He reloaded and emptied the gun, a final brutal act of rage. Silence followed. The night air held still. Only the echo of gunfire remained, and the sight of a young mother lying a few feet from safety. Bullet holes tore through doors, cars, and walls. Neighbors ducked behind furniture, too afraid to move. One moment they were bystanders, the next witnesses to an execution. When it was done, Nicholas didn't call for help. He didn't check if she was alive. He took her purse, grabbed her keys, and sped off in the same car she used to drive her child to school. The same purse that held her ID, her cash, her dreams of starting over. By the time police arrived, Marciana was gone. Her body lay in the parking lot, her phone still clutched in her hand, as if she had tried to call for help. Officers sealed the scene. Blue and red lights flashed across the bullet-riddled door. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez later told reporters a truth too many overlook. Leaving an abuser can be the most dangerous time for a survivor.
The neighbor tells me she did not know Marciana Struggs for very long, but she says she was beautiful and kind. She says the moment she heard gunshots, she feared for her friend's life.
Yesterday,
Bullet holes are found on Shani Drury's front door.
it's right here. They're all of them are right here.
Her doorstop is where Marciana Struggs was shot and killed while trying to run from her boyfriend, Nicholas Finley. Jury recalls how it unfolded.
He said he got pulled over and he needed her to bring the insurance card. And so my roommate took her to go down there and he wasn't there. So when they came back, he was sitting right here in her car. And she jumped out and had a confrontation with him. And he shot her a couple times. My boyfriend pushed me back in the house, and we just went in the bathroom, and I just had my hands over my head, and it was so loud. I thought he was coming in the house because he kept saying he was going to kill everybody in the house. He was going to kill us for helping her.
Jury says Struggs fought to get away.
She made it into my truck, I guess, and he shot her 4 or 5 more times over there, and then she managed to make it over here at that point. And he shot her like 8 more times. It was just so senseless, so senseless.
Police found Nicholas Finley soon after. They tracked him down through her car and took him into custody. He was charged with capital murder and held without bond. But that arrest didn't bring peace. It didn't quiet the screams still echoing in the witnesses' minds. It didn't answer the question that spread through Houston. How could this keep happening? Because this wasn't random. It wasn't a single act of rage. It was part of a pattern, a cycle as old as control itself. In Harris County, nearly 35% of homicides involve intimate partners. When a gun is in the mix, a woman's chance of being killed jumps 500%. The signs are always there. The stories always sound the same. And still the ending rarely changes.
Sheriff Ed Gonzalez says murders involving intimate partners make up 35% of the murders in unincorporated Harris County so far this year. Leaving can be the most dangerous time for a survivor, and the Houston Area Women's Center says if an abuser has a gun, lethality can increase by 500%. We have a list of domestic violence resources on our website at click2houston.com. Corley Peel, KPRC 2 News.
These aren't crimes of passion. They're crimes of control. Men deciding that if they can't have her, no one will. For every Marciana, there are countless others. Women living in silence, watching their words, planning exits in secret, afraid to leave because they know what leaving can cost. That's why the HPD DART unit and the Women's Center exist, to help survivors plan their escape safely, to give them tools and protection before it's too late. Because leaving isn't just about walking out the door. It's about surviving the aftermath. In the days after Marciana's murder, grief rippled through the community. Her sister Marciana Struggs started a GoFundMe, calling her beautiful, kind and driven. A mother who loved her child more than anything. She had been saving for a new apartment, trying to rebuild, trying to start over. She was finally seeing hope again. And then, darkness found her. Outside the bullet-scarred door where she fell, neighbors gathered. They brought candles, flowers, prayers. They told stories about her laugh, her warmth, her strength. One candle burned longer than the rest, its small flame flickering beside a handwritten note that read, "Her light didn't dim. It was stolen. Others thou art calling. Do not pass me by." A neighbor's prayer followed, quiet, raw pleading, "Dear Jesus, who wept at the death of our friend, my cousin, daughter, sister and mother, and taught that they who mourn should be comforted. Grant us the comfort of your presence in our loss. Send your Holy Spirit to guide us, lest we make hasty or foolish decisions. Send your prayer to give us courage." Marciana's death became another entry in Houston's growing list of domestic violence homicides. But to those who loved her, she was never a number. She was a mother who fought for better days, a woman who wanted peace, a friend who made people laugh loud and feel seen. She should still be here, raising her child, rebuilding her life, posting pictures of ordinary joy. Instead, she became another woman silenced by a man who couldn't let go. And once again, we are left with the same haunting question: when will love stop becoming the reason women die? If you or someone you care about is in danger, help is available. You are not alone. There is always a path to safety. Your life is worth fighting for. Thank you for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, uncovering cases you know and many you don't. Stay with us as we bring you more stories that must be heard. We'll see you in the next video.